Far from civilization, a lone astronaut stumbles through an unfamiliar wilderness, frantically trying to call for help. His communicator is dead, and nothing around him feels like Earth. Whatever this place is, it seems trapped outside normal time. Before he can figure out where he is, a thunderous roar echoes nearby. Panic sets in, and he runs, but it's already too late. A massive T-Rex charges out of the trees and ends his escape instantly. Back on Earth, television host Matt Lauer welcomes an eccentric guest to his show, Dr. Rick Marshall. Rick confidently explains his controversial field of study, which he calls quantum paleontology. His research claims that time warps exist and can connect different eras, a theory that's already consumed $50 million in funding. Rick has even written a book and is now asking for more money. Matt openly mocks the idea, pointing out that respected scientists consider Rick's work complete nonsense. The ridicule enrages Rick, who storms off the set, only to rush back moments later when he hears Matt call him insane. Security intervenes before things turn violent. 3 years pass, and Rick's reputation has never recovered. He now gives lectures at a museum, explaining his theories to bored school children. This time, he talks about tachyons, particles that move so fast they can travel backward through time. Rick believes that with the right machine, it would be possible to move sideways through time into a dimension where the past, present, and future collide. Unfortunately, his audience is far more interested in asking silly questions than listening. After the lecture, Rick meets Holly Cantrell, a doctoral student who genuinely believes in his work. She tells Rick that his theories are correct and urges him not to give up. To prove it, she shows him a fossil she discovered in the desert, one that clearly contains the imprint of a modern cigarette lighter. The fossil was found near strange crystals that emit tachyon energy, similar to the crystal Holly wears as a necklace. Rick compares the imprint to his own lighter, and it fits perfectly. For the first time in years, he feels validated. Motivated again, Rick finishes building his invention, the tachyon amplifier, using whatever materials he can find. The device works, though it still contains leftover data like random songs. Despite completing it, Rick is too afraid to test it himself. Holly convinces him to go back to the desert where she found the fossil. Unfortunately, the cave she once explored has turned into a tourist attraction, forcing them to hire gift shop owner Will Stanton to guide them through it on a raft. Inside the cave, Rick detects strong tachyon readings and activates the amplifier. At that exact moment, an earthquake shakes the area, knocking the device into the water. The river becomes violent, dragging the raft deeper into the cave as the walls begin to glow. Suddenly, they're pulled into a massive whirlpool that launches them through a time warp. They land in a strange desert filled with objects from different eras, from random doors to a Viking ship. Rick realizes they've reached the dimension heatherized, a place where time overlaps. Their excitement quickly fades when they notice the amplifier is gone. Without it, they have no way home. While searching the area, they hear strange noises and discover 2 advanced primate creatures preparing to sacrifice a third. The trio intervenes, and Will tries to scare them away using his lighter. When he drops it, the creatures grab it and flee. Holly approaches the injured survivor peacefully, using her knowledge of primitive languages. They learn his name is Chokka. When Rick tries to examine Chokka's injured ankle, Chokka panics and runs. The group follows him and falls into a hidden sand trap that leads to an underground bone-filled cave. Suddenly, living vines wrap around them and hoist them into the air. As they struggle, a T-Rex appears and snaps at them, but misses and bites through the vines instead, freeing them. They escape into the jungle, briefly stopping to take a photo of the dinosaur for proof before continuing toward the mountains. Chokka attempts to destroy a narrow bridge to stop the T-Rex from following, forcing the others to sprint across just in time. The dinosaur hesitates but changes its mind when Rick insults its intelligence, leaping after them. The group finally loses it inside a cave entrance too small for the creature to enter. Holly jokingly names the persistent dinosaur Grumpy. Inside the cave, they discover human skeletons and abandoned belongings, including a record player, and decide to rest there for the night. Through Holly's translation, Chokka explains that he is a prince whose throne was stolen through betrayal. He claims his exile was unfair, mostly blaming it on an incident involving the village well. Will tries to block the cave entrance for safety, but Rick insists dinosaurs aren't smart enough to plan attacks. That theory is immediately challenged when the cave shakes, and they discover the T-Rex has thrown a giant walnut at them. The next morning, Chokka brings them fruit as a peace offering, though it's filled with spiders. Suddenly, the ground trembles again as a blinding light appears in the jungle. Rick begins seeing strange visions of an alien calling for help. Drawn to the signal, Rick leads the group to an abandoned temple filled with eerie statues and a crystal obelisk emitting the message. Chokka senses danger and tries to warn them, but before they understand, lizard-like creatures emerge from the shadows and surround them. As the Sleestaks close in, Holly pulls off her belt to defend herself. That small move sparks an idea for Rick. He grabs the shiny belt buckle and uses it to reflect sunlight onto the statues, then toward the crystal obelisk. The light activates the structure, opening a glowing portal. The group jumps through just in time, while the Sleestaks are unable to follow. On the other side, they find Enoch, the mysterious alien from Rick's visions. Enoch explains that the Sleestaks are planning to conquer this world by harnessing the crystal's power. He claims the only way to stop them is by using the tachyon amplifier, which would also send Rick and his friends back home. Will immediately distrusts Enoch, but Rick agrees to help. Back in the jungle, Rick builds a small model of the terrain to plan their search for the lost amplifier. His first idea is covering themselves in dinosaur urine to mask their scent. Rick commits fully, showering in it twice, while the others refuse. The plan becomes pointless when Chocka arrives with new information and leads them back to the desert. Holly identifies the desert as a key location since it's filled with objects pulled from different timelines, including their raft. Suddenly, an ice cream truck crashes in from a time rift, attracting several dinosaurs, including Grumpy and his mate. The territorial creatures pick up the scent and give chase. Chaos erupts as everyone scatters. Grumpy manages to grab Rick, but Rick blinds him with a laser pointer and escapes. While hiding among wrecked vehicles and buildings, Rick discovers a tank of liquid nitrogen. Holly and will set up a catapult, launching the tank into the female dinosaur's mouth. It explodes, killing her and revealing the tachyon amplifier, which had been swallowed earlier. Before they can retrieve it, a smaller dinosaur snatches the device, only for a pteranodon to steal it and carry it to its nest. Rick gives up, crushed by another failure. Holly is deeply hurt, having sacrificed her scientific future to support him. She leaves with Will and Chocka to camp for the night, where Chocka talks more about his nomadic tribe and royal life. Rick later returns, having changed his mind. He apologizes with an awkward banjo song while a giant mosquito drains his blood. Rick passes out on top of it, killing the insect in the process. The next morning, Rick leads them to a volcano where the pteranodon's nest is located. He carefully sneaks past dinosaur eggs and recovers the amplifier, which has been playing music non-stop. When Rick shuts it off, the eggs immediately begin hatching. Unable to restart the device, Rick starts singing instead. One by one, the others join in, even Chocka, whose voice calms the baby dinosaurs back to sleep. They escape safely with the amplifier. Later, the group relaxes in the desert pool. Chocka shares fruit as a sign of friendship, but the fruit turns out to be narcotic. While the men recover, Holly experiments with the amplifier, creating another obelisk. Inside, she finds a cave with dinosaur eggs and takes one. She also discovers a holographic warning revealing the truth: Enoch is the real villain, seeking the crystal's power for himself. Before Holly can warn the others, she's captured by a Sleestak. Meanwhile, the men fall asleep after eating a giant crab boiled in a hot spring. When they wake and realize Holly is missing, Rick sends Chocka ahead while he and Will investigate the obelisk cave. They disguise themselves using shed Sleestak skins and infiltrate the temple. Inside, they find Holly trapped in a cage, about to be lowered into lava as punishment for helping Enoch. Rick swings the cage like a wrecking ball, knocking Sleestaks into the lava. Rick and Holly escape the cage and share a quick kiss, but there's no time to celebrate. Enoch arrives, controlling the Sleestaks with a crystal, steals the amplifier, and summons Grumpy to deal with them. Rick refuses to run anymore. He sends Holly away and faces Grumpy alone. His fireworks fail, so he tosses them along with his lighter, unknowingly creating the fossil Holly found earlier. Rick attempts a pole vault with a Sleestak staff, but Grumpy simply swallows him whole. With Rick gone, Grumpy loses interest and leaves. As Enoch activates the crystals, the Sleestaks overwhelm Will and Holly. Suddenly, Grumpy returns with Rick riding on his back. Rick explains he survived by being expelled after clearing a blockage inside the dinosaur. Grumpy, now relieved, becomes Rick's unlikely ally and wipes out the Sleestaks. They enter the obelisk and confront Enoch, who has already opened a portal to Earth. During the struggle, Will accidentally shatters a crystal, closing the portal. Thinking fast, Rick replaces it with Holly's crystal necklace, reopening the gateway. Rick and Holly escape, but Enoch grabs Will. With Chocka's help, Will captures Enoch and chooses to stay behind, deciding to start a new life in this world. Rick and Holly return to Earth at the tourist cave entrance. Chocka brings Will to meet his tribe, where Will happily settles in. A year later, Rick appears back on television, proving his theories by showing a dinosaur egg and promoting his new book. During the broadcast, the egg hatches, revealing not a dinosaur, but a baby Sleestak. Like and subscribe for more. Thank you.